All right.
Here comes the real mic. Oh, you feeling the real mic? That's a
Oh
real
yeah,
fucking mic.
I can feel that
You feel
high
that shit? You know where this mic comes from? This mic was stolen from Teen People in 2003.
shit, dude. I had a stolen mic stand from a local high school party. DJ said he just left one. I
Yeah,
just took
no.
it.
This is
I'm not
fucking
that.
Time Inc. money. AKG fucking this is the
Oh
level
shit.
set for all fucking interviews ever. What's up?
No, not much. I got,
I gotta
I got
wait.
back.
I gotta record this in fucking GarageBand in case you fuck up and dump the audio, so you have something to work with.
Dope.
I don't
No,
trust
that's
you guys,
good.
man. I mean, we already had this bad fucking jiggy thing 5 years ago. I can't trust it. You know.
It's insane that it was 5 years ago because I just don't think of it that long ago.
Isn't that crazy? Like the internet just doesn't let time fucking happen. It's just
It
I
shit
know.
never
doesn't. It
ends.
really doesn't. So much shit has happened between 5 years ago. In general, just the music landscape has changed so much. Like when we
Well,
talked
because
last,
yeah,
Spotify was barely a thing. It was
no,
barely.
well, it was the thing in Europe though. But I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. Like the
Who cares
streaming
about you?
fucking the streaming advertising promo fucking bot shit bullshit. Like it's just it's hit the point where it's like it's overtaken everything. And like I never complained about the fucking categorization feeding you shit stuff that I've been complaining about since I came back in the day. I was like, okay, you're saying you're independent, but you're taking advertising money from Lexus and all this bullshit, and like
Hmm.
that's fucking hypocritical as hell, and it drives me crazy. And you all ghost the second anyone asks you a question about this. You fucking ghost, and you keep putting out posts about this great new band that I like, and I really just like this band. And they were just fucking hiding behind this positivism when in reality they were all fucking doing coke and drugs and fucking crazy shit that was so much fucking worse than people ever knew about, and they still don't know about it.
It
So
feels like
it just pissed me off, and like the thing that sucked is it's not like anybody involved in that was going to be like, yeah, he's right. I'm going to help him back up his fucking story that's burning us down. Like that shit wasn't going to happen. So I was on my own and whatever, and then I had people fucking crusading against me and fucking taking the littlest thing and just being like, that guy is a fucking piece of shit because yeah, you get an in to invalidate someone who's talking shit about you. You're gonna fucking take that and work it for all you can, and they did, and that's fine.
Case in point, that Fader article that Fantano got.
oh
Yeah, so
yeah,
I worked actually. So yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So look, I can't like. So Anthony and I are friends.
Hmm.
We're sort of like lifeline buddies. Like we call each other when we're like up against some shit.
hmm
And through that process, I was offline when this all happened.
Hmm.
Now I was offline, but I wasn't offline to Anthony, and so I had a lot of exposure to what he was going through and how hard this was for him emotionally, not legally.
No, I
Um,
understand that it's an attack on his character as a person. It's someone who he's not. That it was a complete call out for no explicit reason other than because the journalists want to be gatekeepers still, and he's kind of breaking down that wall.
well, this little kid wanted to make his name on dragging Anthony Fantano and being like, yo, you don't realize this, but he's got this other channel where he's putting 4chan memes and shit. Like, I was just like, dude, you are so fucking 22. Will you shut the fuck up? But the thing that killed me is like, or not killed me, the thing I loved about this whole process, and I wasn't around, I wasn't watching any of this. I was totally fucking offline. But,
Hmm.
I've since gone back and I've looked at it and I'm like, at no point, as much shit as people give Anthony Fantano, and they love to fucking clown on him, and he sets himself up to get clowned on, and he knows that. At no point did this guy go, "My wife's black." He never played that
Yeah,
fucking card,
exactly.
and
Exactly.
that is like that. I
That's
had
the
like a
brilliant
fucking
part of it.
2 hour. I had a 2 hour conversation with him where I was like, I can't. It's so hard to reconcile how fucking stand up and collected and composed he was around all this bullshit with the same cheap ass cards he could have dropped on the table
Hmm.
and been like, yeah, peace.
Hmm.
He never did that. He just sat back. And I mean, it was totally like, he's not that much younger than me. I mean, a bit, but I was like, I could never have handled this with the fucking grace that you did. I could never have done it. I would have blown myself up 8 times, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really fucked up. And I think look, this is the whole thing I've also been talking about. Like, this matters to 5 people. This whole thing is so much smaller than people realize because of bots and fucking all the media publications by bots. It's all fucking juiced bullshit, aggregation, correlation. They're all fucking gaming the system. Like, once Spotify over, and Twitter is now finally getting a rebound problem where advertisers are like, this is all actual bullshit and we're getting nothing for our money. And so I think the fact that this whole bot inflation, amplifying what's going on to an unrealistic, totally phony degree has gotten so obvious and egregious that everyone is like, it's all kind of fucked up and bad and fake. And like, you don't want to trash Me Too, because Me Too is super fucking important. Like, companies
It
in
is,
England
absolutely.
companies in England are paying women 50% of what they're paying men. That's fucking wrong as shit. So
it's off. No, the Me Too thing, having worked in Hollywood, having even just in the teen sense of it, I was in the child actor area, having grown up around that and seen the way that young girls get treated. And I we were going into being Disney sitcom stars, which is where Dan Schneider sat at, which is where, I saw people like Dan Schneider at these auditions, and you see the way teen girls get eyed at more than teen boys. And it's creepy and it's real. It's a constant thing in Hollywood. It's just been buried since the 70s.
Yeah, but it's the same in finance and all these other industries. The thing that's fucked up for me is like, look, I spent fucking years railing against what I felt was hypocrisy in the music industry because I love music. And I was a punk rock kid and I was actual fucking DIY. And some of these people were too. But the problem was like, dude, you're taking fucking money from Top Man and Lexus and all this shit and Miller Coors, and like, it's obviously swaying your coverage and it's bullshit and you don't own up to it. But the problem was, right up to the point that I was getting my loudest with this, all this other shit came out. Like the PR company that was very loudly and famously outed for having a drug addicted, sexist, misogynist piece of shit on top of it, who was dealing drugs to the people who were in charge of some of these websites. I'm not going to get into names, but it was in a public record that Zach from Dive and Sky Ferreira got arrested for bringing drugs into the country. They were doing that for this PR company and for this website. People think, they don't understand how bad the drug use was. Like, if I told you the stories, you'd be like, and I said it was about Vice, you'd be like, yeah, of course. Orgies everywhere, doing coke off, 19-year-old girls' tits. That's Vice, man. That's what they do. It wasn't just Vice.
No, I don't doubt it that.
And so some of these people got away with it, and they're gonna get away with it. And they're not the Harvey Weinsteins. They're not people who should go to jail for the rest of their life. They're not. They were insecure fucking losers who loved and lived with music and then got into a position of power. And if you're a person who grew up with music and loved music, man, fucking outsized drug use is about fucking one tick on the dial. Once you have the ability to do it, that's what you've been told to do the whole time. So I don't blame these people, and I'm not naming names, and I'm not coming back to fuck people up anymore. I'm done with that shit.
That's exactly the reason why my dad left the industry in general, because he wasn't going to patsy the drug mule for everyone in the studio. He worked at A&M in the 70s in LA.
Oh boy, that's fucking fistfuls of coke, baby. That's fucking
he was
Mac
absolutely
status.
asked by Mick Jagger's personal assistant, Karen Carpenter, and the Stranglers to go find prostitutes, drugs, and he's just like, I'm the studio tech. I'm not in charge of this shit. And his boss comes up to him and goes, no, you do that for him. I'll cover your job. And he just couldn't stand doing that every time they did that.
Yeah, and it's just a thing of you're trying to do one thing that's a very small thing, and that's what I was doing. And it's not like I blew up. My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody. But it's like it wasn't like that, and it never had that audience, and I knew that it was never going to. But when you chafe people like that, when you get right up in people's shit with back channel stuff that I'm getting told by disgruntled employees, it fucks the mix up bad. And those people will do fucked up shit to try and shout you down. And they did that to me. And, full fucking disclosure, like there's some stuff I did that was pretty fucking stupid.
Right.
Fucking, yeah, straight up. I sent fucking drunk, stupid, thirsty DMs to a couple people. And that shit happened. And I fucking own that, Like, fine. Okay. Like that's fucking stupid. But it's not like I just, this whole like ability to shout down people with magic words, like toxic, slid into DMs, this, that, and the other, like it's just this fucking like invalidation routine that's always gone on when you have a contrarian position. It just got really fucking weird and bad for me to a point where like somebody who's on MTV has their Facebook page named after me and is like bullying people into talking shit about me. Like it got really fucked up. And like the shit with this, there's a musician that I got in a stupid one fucking Twitter exchange with, who then put that up on a fucking billboard with no context and was like, this person is X, Y, and Z. And I was just like, fuck, man, there's as much as there could be an audience for the type of things that I've said and continue to say, there's just as much of an audience for the people who want to support these other people and just fucking shout you down. And that's fine. They can do that. And I earned it, I fucking stood up. I got up and I was like, hit me with a baseball bat. And they fucking hit me with a baseball bat. And I was like, I have a real life and I don't need this shit. And Trump just got elected, and all these people that I've known for years and years are now spouting all this insanely fucking melodramatic bullshit about politics. Like, dude, I followed you because you had good taste in music. You're not the person I'm looking to explain American politics to me. I got it. And it's just, it just got to the point where I was like, I gotta fucking go. Like, I gotta go. I didn't do anything. I'm not Louis C.K. I don't need to go because I need to go. I need to go because I need to go. And I took about 1.5 years off and I got perspective, I was like, yeah, I did what I did. What the fuck ever? Nobody gives a shit, and there's nothing I'm going to fucking hang for. But it was so small and it got turned into such a fucking like sledge for anybody who wanted to fucking wash me that I was like, okay, well, it's actually nothing. So I don't give a shit if I come back for that. And then it was also a thing of like, okay, yeah, I'm over 40, but I'm not dead. And I'm not going to come back and be like, let me explain Grimes to you guys. Like, I'm not going to come back and be like, look, guys, I don't think you guys really understand Cardi B. You need this white 41-year-old guy. Because I made a joke a long time ago where I was like, no 40-year-old white man should have an opinion about Lady Sovereign. And I knew when I wrote it, I was like, I'm going to be that guy. And it's going to be Cardi B or whatever it is. And I shouldn't have an opinion about that. And now I know that. And it's like I'm not like, you want to ask me my opinion about like pop music my fucking kids are listening to? I'm not going to offer it, man. It's for my kids. It's for fucking 22-year-olds. It's not for me. I'm not even going to go there.
Bruno Mars album though?
Yeah, it's miserable. Like I did, like, dude, like this is my whole thing. I'm like, I'm here if you want to ask me a question, right? I'm not here to fucking slam on shit that's going on for kids today. And my whole thing, this swing around is like, kids today are getting fucking killed by people my age who are trying to hang on to fucking bullshit media jobs and tell kids what's what. But their whole agenda is help streaming, help fucking metadata, help fucking, because lazy is the best open in the business. If you have something that can help people be lazier, you're going to fucking knock it out of the park every time. And that's what Spotify is.
Oh, exactly. That's what it felt like with, I remember they were talking about like with the iTunes, when iTunes first started up. Just the whole concept that you didn't have to go to the store to buy your singles anymore. You didn't have to buy the album anymore. You could just listen to the hits you wanted to listen to. And that scared people so much back then.
Yeah, but it also became their whole rallying cry when they got Ian and the fucking, Iovine got in and all these people and they fucking pinched Scott Plagan from Pitchfork and like, well, you can sell Pitchfork's name along with the launch of Apple Music, baby. Their whole thing, they kept talking about it, and I wrote a Medium post about it. You need curation. You need trusted curation. How can you live without trusted curation in your life? And like all they're selling you on is let us manipulate the definition of cool. That's all it is.
Feist 1, 2, 3, 4, coolest song of the decade.
It's just fucked up, man, because the fucking, like when I did that first video when I came back and I posted the numbers, like there's just like 15 bands I screen capped on this, and they have like 40,000 plays, and like 10,000 of those are me. Like 10,000 of the plays on Seems the Problem with Me are me, literally me.
I'm surprised the Rodan one doesn't have more, but that's just because I know of that like circle of virtual crate digging that goes with the indie rock math rock scene of that time.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said in the video, man, like nobody's keeping this shit alive because it's not working for anybody. You want to work?
No.
Get synced up to fucking Stranger Things, man. Put fucking the Everyday World of Bodies in the next fucking episode
Oh,
of
yeah.
Stranger Things. 8 million plays, dude. Like, good to go.
Dude, I'm waiting for that Fugazi in the next season.
Why the fuck did they do a video about In on the Kill Taker, their fucking shittiest album? Like, Facet Squared is the only good song on that fucking record. Like, Margin Walker was the shit. Like, oh, it's just,
It's the lack of attention towards Red Medicine in general.
Oh, don't go. I don't like that shit, man.
I like that one.
The Red Medicine argument period is where I was like, oh yeah, you guys are Bruce Springsteen, baby. They got bought into so hard. There were so many kids that were like, I was only 13 when 13 songs came out, so I can't like that. I don't know that, but then I know Fugazi's supposed to be great, so yeah, Red Medicine. I mean, it's okay, whatever, dude. Like for me, Fugazi is an '80s thing. It's not a '90s thing. Fugazi in the '90s sucked. They're an '80s band. They were important in the '80s. They were a transitional band that helped us get out of, bullshit, hardcore, roughneck nonsense. Like they expanded all that, and so did the other, side projects they had. Like I mean, One Last Wish is like the best fucking shit ever. Like is that what it's called? Fuck.
I'm trying to think of what you're thinking of either, but I'm not sure. I was super into Minor Threat in high school, and I followed the Ian MacKaye timeline basically.
No, but
that's where I got to Fugazi.
Yeah, no, there's that weird obscure record that never got released. I think it's One Last Wish. It sounds exactly like The Cure, and it's whatever. Like I had a friend who had it, and I was like, holy shit, like this is the good stuff. Like there was that band 3 too. Like I mentioned that in the podcast. Like there were lots of bands underneath punk that were like, I sort of like The Cure and Mission of Burma, and I'm sick of playing fast. And the big one obviously is Dag Nasty, because Dag Nasty is the bridge. They're the bridge out of all this. I mean, can I say it's just fucking flawless? Like, I mean, Circle, like all the fucking. I mean, it was just so perfect because it was so much better than like, fucking Judge. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like. I have a very long history of just virtual crate digging through punk records in high school because I just had a lot of free time and the internet was a treasure trove of blogs at the time.
You had the internet in high school?
Yes, I'm only 25.
Jesus Christ, man, you were 20 the last time we talked? Fuck me.
Yeah, essentially.
So I mean, 20. For me, it was crazy enough having the internet in college. We didn't even have music over the internet. It was impossible. You had the only file type that could play audio was .move, fucking QuickTime.
I've been on
8 hours to load.
Scene. I don't know the internet music scene since Napster, basically, and the original SoulSeek. Like I had older siblings.
SoulSeek, baby. Yeah, do you have DC++? You got that shit?
I think I did. That sounds really familiar.
Were you on Audio Galaxy?
I wasn't on it. I was 8 years old, man.
I gotta go.
I had it on the computer. I had it on the Windows 95.
I had 98. I had fucking 98. I had 98 SE2, baby. No, seriously though, if you want to talk about early days, Audio Galaxy was the best thing that ever happened. It was a totally straight up open channel agent on everyone's machine, and you got your own landing page for your profile, and you would upload MP3s that really were links to the file on your actual computer.
Oh my god, that's like a Geocities thing.
Crazy insecure, like totally fucking like Wild West shit. But within months, in 2001, I think it was, I was living in, it was right after 9/11. I was living in St. Mary's around the corner from Fenway Park with my buddies, and Audio Galaxy went fucking crazy for like 9 months to a year. And like, you would get shit that was like somebody made an MP3 off a tape. Like, and now it's like, okay, fine, it's on SoundCloud. There's a fucking 900,000 UK rave bootleg fucking mixes from 91, all categorized and perfect, and it's all there. Yeah. But the thing with Audio Galaxy is it had the metadata of recommendation, and that's what we're losing, because Spotify and Apple Music are defining how you hear about shit. They're saying this means this. You listen to this, this equals this in our cloud of metadata bullshit that they again bought from Echo Nest and outside Boston. Audio Galaxy was like, you find a person who likes this and you trust them and you follow them the way you follow somebody on Twitter.
Yeah.
and you get fucking crazy rare shit that they've only uploaded because they know you can't find it. And it was just like, you know, whatever what CD meant to people, it was like that, but easier and more casual.
Yes.
And what CD was so fucking time consuming that I just couldn't even deal with it.
Well, it sounds like what SoulSeek is now, which is, it's no longer just people uploading their shit anymore, which is what I remember it being. I remember it being where like you could find the Autechre DJ set from last week or some shit. That's what I remember it being. And
SoulSeek?
Yeah, that's what I remember SoulSeek being.
SoulSeek for me was just like waiting hours and hours for fucking weird remixes to download and just going to bed with your 56K modem.
Yeah, dude, you gotta set that shit overnight.
Oh, for real. I mean, I had a fucking compact D-pen, baby, at that point.
Ooh.
And I think I had a US Robotics 56K.
SoulSeek now is very much a, people have their library on display, and you basically, some of them have their shit organized in their folders, so you can browse their own folders on their thing and just find genres or whatever the hell they want.
Well, that was the beauty of DC++, that one I mentioned, is that it gave you a virtual file system into somebody's computer, so you could browse it before you start hooking into downloading and like select, I want this fucking Cure bootleg from this guy, and I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the whole myth of the social aspect of Spotify and Apple Music is just getting more and more transparently false. And they're pushing. And, you know, there have been plenty of articles written about the fucking, you know, Playola, Playlistola, and how, you know, Rap Caviar and all this bullshit is fucking stuff up so fucking hard. And it's just, it sucks. And Lil Pump is the fucking, that's it. Lil Pump getting fucking $8 million from Warner Brothers. Are you fucking kidding me?
Are we back to the 80s?
I can't say I'm gonna get fucking dragged on fucking
we'll
Twitter.
bleep it out, don't worry. You can say
yeah,
everything
good.
here.
That's a really fucking socially unconscious word to use.
I mean, it's come back around a lot due to edgy YouTubers, surprisingly. You'd be surprised when people our age really say again, but not necessarily at people. They say as in like a descriptor again.
Well, it was a fucking word that meant something before it ascribed a human
Of
condition.
course.
I mean, it's fucking stupid. People are so... It sucks,
Lexicon changes, though.
It just sucks, man. It sucks hearing all this histrionic bullshit that fucking children are spouting on Twitter. They have no fucking idea what they're saying.
It is children, though. That's the weirdest part. It is children. It's literally 13-year-olds. It's like, at 13, I thought I knew what was socially cool and socially acceptable and what was progressive and things like that. And it just turns out you're just repeating bullshit passed down to you by like an older sibling or some shit.
Dude, when I was 13, Ronald Reagan was president. Okay,
yeah.
And the day that Trump got elected, before I quit Twitter, the first thing I said was, "We survived 8 years of Ronald Reagan with no access to information at all.
Mm-hmm.
We had no idea what anyone was doing. Donald Trump can't even wake up without getting shithoused by a very loud, very powerful oppositional media. Yep. That is good." That is good stuff.
No, it's much better than what it was with the Bush and Reagan era. It absolutely is.
And like value that shit. Don't keep bitching about how you're not getting what you want. I mean, like, so look, I did a fucking interview with some other radio station. I think it was Connecticut College. I guess the audio got fucked up. But what I said in this was like, I can't believe that politicians in this country have not figured out. Give everybody what they want. Every little thing they want. It is so small. It is the smallest thing. Legalize everything. It doesn't affect anyone. It doesn't matter. It's a tiny little fucking loud audience of people who just want to be fucking accepted. Just let it go. Because they're using it as a way to not talk about real fucking issues that by number actually matter. They can just focus on, they've done this forever. But now with social media and all this shit and all this power, we're still getting gamed by this system and letting them talk about tiny
identity politics.
It's just
identity politics, distractions.
Which shouldn't even, I mean, like, you have your voice, man. You can say whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
No one's shutting that down.
No.
Like, just give them what they want and they can't complain anymore.
I can't tell you how many times every Twitter I see there's somebody, you know, it's I want to promote my black voice on Twitter, and there's a bunch of black people on Twitter promoting that back. You are never not in the limelight when you want to be. With,
well, wait, hold on.
Social media.
All right, so wait. I'm talking to two people, right?
Yeah.
All right, one of you is black, African American, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Just say black.
Well, I'm not doing the fucking my
He's
one
Canadian,
black
not
friend.
American.
I'm not doing my one black friend thing here. I got one black friend, so I can say whatever I want. No,
Yeah.
it's not that. It's just these are important things, and they're not getting corrected. And I'm just saying, all you have to do is just fix it. Just let it go. Give them everything they want. It's just like, look, dude, this is corny as shit. But like Chris Rock had a routine where he's like, "There's black people in 5 places." You know, like this country is fucking mad ghettoized racially. It always has been. Like, it's just by number. It's not a big deal. Hear these voices. Give them what they're fucking asking for, and it stops.
Especially with
They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because they can't keep using that wedge to distract you from. I mean, we're getting into a totally fucking stupid place, but it just the Trump thing was a big fucking problem for me because what am I going to say? I'm going to get into politics? No, I don't want to. And you look at we opened up talking about Fantano. Fantano was like doing this stuff, reaction vids to political issues.
Yeah,
and
his sarcastic ones.
People in his life were like, shut the fuck up. Stay in your fucking lane. Talk about music. Talk to kids about music. Shut the fuck up about politics because you're just asking to get fucking run over by a Mack truck.
Yep. And that's what happened. They went after those receipts and they tried to misrepresent them.
Well, look, man, some of the stuff on that fucking other channel was weird. And he got fucked over because he got a guy in early before he came out and was like a mad fucking racist piece of shit.
Yeah. We talked about Sam Hyde before, like 2 weeks before that happened. It was really interesting.
Well, it's like, look, you can get fucking dragged. And I made this joke right about when I came back. I'm going to go drag you for a record review you wrote 15 years ago. Really? For fucking real? You're going to tell me a record review that ran in the New York Times in 2003 about Liz Phair means culture is bad? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's 15 fucking years ago, man. Yeah, I guess their edit sucked and wasn't politically correct then. But like, we're going to make this a thing now and it's going to be a rallying cry? Like, okay, if somebody writes a really shitty misogynist fucking review of St. Vincent tomorrow, yeah, they deserve to get their fucking ass burnt out because that's just not acceptable anymore. There's a lot of policing around messaging now, and there should be. But 2003, man, Rolling Stone and Spin barely had websites in 2003. Barely. They didn't want to put their content out on the web because they were giving it away.
Yeah.
So, like, the web was just a fucking free-for-all of dumbass 23-year-old fuckheads like me. Like, we wrote shit that was like super personal. And when you're 23, your personal politics suck. You're a fucking idiot. You don't know anything. You look at somebody who's sexually attractive and you're like talking about them in those terms because that's what's fucking resonating for you because you're a fucking horny dipshit 23-year-old kid. Like, one of the big names in this, Jess Hopper, right? Back when she was doing Hit It or Quit It with Chris Ryan, who's now like the second lieutenant for Simmons and The Ringer and all this bullshit. These people they had a zine and I, had a brief entanglement with them. And we had this argument about Mary Timony from Helium. And I was like, she's kind of like struggling and it's not going well, blah, blah, blah. And we had this conversation about the fact that I was like, she's straight up selling her sexuality in all of her songs in these first records, Pirate Prude and whatever. And I was like, she's free to do that. And that's great. Robert Smith was free to sell it. George Michael was free to sell his sexuality. All these people, they do it. And she kind of did it. And we got in these arguments about it. And I was just like, look, man, they put it on the fucking table, And it's just gotten so different, man. Like, everybody used to have their say and walk away and think about it and be like, okay, this part of what I thought was wrong. I was wrong. I need to like mature and think differently about these particular issues. But now it's just like fucking sledgehammers. Like, how can kids grow up in this environment? How can they grow up? How can you learn? All you're getting told is you're invalid, you're wrong, you're a misogynist, you're fucking transphobic, whatever. Like, you say one wrong thing at 19 and you're a fucking pariah, dragged across the whole fucking fabric of whatever. You know, it's just, this is different and fucked up, and it sucks for kids. And I'm like, it's such a cheap fucking flag to fly, to be like, oh, I'm
You
here
see
for the
this
kid.
as-
I'm here for the kids, man. I'm all about the kids. No, I'm not here for the
Do
kids.
you see this sort of attitude as like pervasive throughout the entirety of American culture? I feel like it's still sort of just an internet thing, to be honest.
Well, no, so I took a year and a half off, and I can tell you for real, nobody gives a fuck about any of the shit music Twitter's talking about. Give a shit, man. You don't even.
People are screaming
wouldn't
in the
think
streets.
so.
The Gaslamp killer deserves to die.
Yeah. Like you got 19,000 fake
Yeah.
followers on Twitter. You're really
The
fixing
revolution
shit.
will only be televised.
It just, what kills me is these people are buying into their own self-made legitimacy, and it's such a fucking sad thing. Like, I've never done that. From day one, I'm like, yeah, okay, this Kurt Cobain video I had got 60,000 views. Okay, that means maybe 20,000 people watched it 3 times.
Maybe.
Like, it's, yeah, maybe 10,000 people watched it 6 times. It's a joke. Like the numbers don't mean anything, but you look at the people who will buy into the numbers, and it's like, that's how sad you are. You actually believe this shit. Like, these numbers, I've been screaming about. I mean, one of the first videos I put up in 2012. Christ, I was like, internet metrics are the biggest fucking joke on the planet. That's 7 years ago or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
For real. And I'm like,
Oh man,
people are
it's
just
amazing
now.
how much it's devolved since then too.
Yeah, but it's also like the popular understanding of how fucking bullshit all this is. It's just now turning the corner.
Yeah,
Like
because
6 years after I'm ranting about it, people generally are like, maybe this is kind of falsely amplified.
Yeah, maybe Spotify is
For
becoming
real.
the next record industry of the 1980s, where we're just signing people for millions of dollars with no actual intention of paying them based on these numbers that mean nothing.
Well, it doesn't matter because
new
we have a
storm
channel.
one
We have a
who-
way to make them famous.
Yeah.
We got control over the whole fucking thing.
now
Same as
Yeah.
same as FM radio in the 80s, man.
Same as MTV.
It's no different. We control access, so we control who gets access. And I wrote a big fucking, there's another Medium piece I wrote about how I spent fucking like 6 months. I went crazy in 2010 writing this piece because I got access to the Nielsen ratings, SoundScan. So I actually have access to everything in SoundScan. Most people don't because it costs like $65,000 a year. But I have back channel access to everything in SoundScan. And I can tell you some really fucking funny shit. But what I wanted to do with it was say, okay, it's now demonstrable what happened in the 80s, right? So they shipped all these records and then they, buried them in a landfill, whatever they did, because they can use the numbers to market the artist. And Lil Pump is the same fucking thing. And Uzi Vert, who the fuck these people are. You can use the numbers to pump it, right? If you see big numbers, you're like, oh, well, this is a big deal. No, it's not. It's totally fake. But if a chart gets the marketing, then the chart's a thing. So record charts were the thing in the 80s, and they shipped fake numbers of records, millions and millions of records. They got 17 million copies of Def Leppard's Hysteria in the channel.
Ooh.
17 million, okay, in the channel. Just channel stuffing. It's what they do with cars, right? And they got destroyed or whatever, so they didn't show up on returns. And then, after SoundScan came out in 91, 2, when everyone realized people are actually buying rap and country records, from then on, Hysteria only sold, I think, 3 million copies in 8 years. But in the 3 years when it was literally on the charts for a full calendar year in the top 10, it somehow sold 17 million. And it got really fucked up because I'll stop after this, but what happened was there was this mad racist fucking thing that happened where Michael Jackson's Thriller could not be allowed to be the best-selling album of all time. And so this record label got in a fight with another record label and started stuffing the channel so that the Eagles' greatest hits would be the best-selling record of all time. And within 3 years, they artificially moved 18 million copies of the Eagles' greatest hits to make it by number the best-selling record of all time.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
it couldn't be Michael
Yeah.
Jackson's Thriller. I'm not fucking with you. It's totally real.
No, that's real. That sounds about real. Can't have that black man be the number one selling artist.
So, you know, and then it just, you know, boil it down, right? So it's not about, you know, race. It's about who do I represent? I'm WME. I'm fucking CAA. I'm fucking Live Nation. There's like 8 companies that have money that fuck with this stuff. And they're all trying to top each other. And, you know, well, you got people outside that, you know, you got Kanye comes back, you know, he knew I was going to be on Moo. He knew I was going to do this interview. And he's like, okay, well, if Chris is going to be on Muchella, I got to come back on Twitter. So, you know.
What I actually want to go back on the thing of artificially fixing numbers and shit, because I did make a note on this little document I have here of just the what you've gone on this many times before, the privileged kids who aren't really they don't need to be musicians, but they are, and they get more exposure than anyone else who's actually trying and is much more DIY than them. And I don't know if you know about
the story. Okay, here's the story. There's a music camp, a summer music camp, like a rock band camp.
Yeah.
In Connecticut. It's in the same town where Anderson Cooper's mansion is.
Ooh.
It costs $20,000 to send your kid to this camp for 6 weeks. $20,000. Ezra Koenig went there, Elle King went there, and Sarah Dupuis went there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, DIY is fucked, dude.
Oh, it's always been pretty fucked. I think the last true DIY person I can think of is Robert Pollard of Guided by Voices.
Okay, look. So GBV got blown up because Jim Greer wrote it Spin. Jim Greer was dating Kim Deal. It's a little bit fucked up, okay? He's dating a girl who's from their town, and she's giving him his tapes, and then he writes them up in Spin, and Matador's blown up with Pavement, and it just, look, I mean, I like them fine, and it didn't hurt anybody. It's not like they were fucking making bajillions of dollars, but that was all fucking glad-handing, ass-grabbing bullshit.
Oh, it's absolutely networking. That's all it is. It's all networking, and that's what you got to do.
And Alien Lanes was fucking awesome. It's one of my favorite records, but B1000's just like, when I hear fucking people talking about B1000 like it was a big deal, I'm like, there's like 2 good songs. Queens of Cans and Jars is good. Come on, man. Just people get, I don't know, there's people who actually look at this stuff, and then there's people who receive it, and they can't wait to fucking cheerlead for something that they've bought the fucking story on. And it's weird. The guy who wrote the B1000 book for the 33 and a third series is a professor at Skidmore, where I went. Ooh. I went there back before it was like one of the most fucking expensive bullshit liberal arts fucking day camps ever. It didn't cost that much when I went there. It was a fucking stupid, you know, dumb liberal arts, you know, you couldn't get into a real school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 20 something grand. Okay?
Oh, that's back when you had the privilege of having those kind of schools.
Well, you know, yeah, sure. But the whole like when I went there, it was like, okay, you didn't know what you want to do with your life. You're reasonably intelligent. You can write a good fucking, you know, acceptance essay. It was 20 something grand, which wasn't nothing in the 80s, but it wasn't crazy.
No.
But now, you know, Skidmore's like costs as much as fucking Bowdoin. I don't know. It's like 60 something grand to fucking go there. And I'm like, what? It's a fucking Cowtown College in fucking Saratoga. Are you shitting me? They're all doing it. They're all fucking jacking the rates up like crazy. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just going to mention the new hotness, which I guess you don't really want to go into since you mentioned it. The new hotness of the artist I've got a little of a bone to pick with is Claro, the girl who blew up out of nowhere, whose dad works for Converse's marketing gimmick or their entire marketing department.
Yeah. So like,
you guys
look,
talking about Frankie Cosmos already?
No, that's Frankie Cosmos. Her dad's Chris Klein. Kevin Klein. There you go.
It's got nothing to do with her dad.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with her dad. It's just she had money and opportunity.
No, dude. Her mother is Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates Phoebe Cates stands to inherit the Cates fortune. It has a name. It is the Cates fortune.
I didn't know that part.
Her grandfather invented the $64,000 question, the most profitable television show in like up until the 80s. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. And like, whatever, man. Like, dude, look, if she came out and did fucking Madonna stuff and pop star shit, okay, but
Yeah.
don't go fucking pallying with the people. I don't want to name names that
No, yeah, feel free not.
websites, and it's just she just greased everybody. You can be my buddy and hang out with me, and you know, fucking. It's sickening. Like the
Mhm.
lies, the fucking phony, you know, realness of these people
Yeah.
that they sell. It's just fucking stupid.
Well,
You
it's
have the money. You have the money to go into a studio and bang out a fucking Rihanna track. You could do whatever you want, but you want to pretend to be, you know, down with the fucking kids and be fucking DIY. And here's my tape. It's just sickening, man. Like it just sickens me. Like your fucking output has to be at par with your like wealth, with your ability to fucking dominate a capitalist society.
like
And
Kate Bush.
you lie and you pretend to be this struggling thing that needs people's help, that needs, you know, journalists' help. And it's like either you're rich and lying or you're somebody's friend. Either way, I don't see a distinction between either of those. Like Swearen's got signed, man. Oh, that's really weird. She's best friends with the fucking 3 dominant editors of Pitchfork. How did that happen?
God, I haven't even followed that whole situation yet. I didn't even read into that one.
I
I
don't know,
just
they
saw
got
that.
back
I just saw
together,
that Swearing
whatever.
got signed. That's all I saw that today.
Yeah, really crazy how that happened. I don't know how you can possibly get a deal together. It's just, you know, look, man, if people were more honest about shit, it would be great. Because
Yeah.
who cares? I don't give a shit if you're rich. Just tell me you're rich.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
know?
Yeah, I don't
Like-
like the posturing that you struggled in an apartment to make your first Frankie Cosmos record.
Oh, it was really hard. I had a really tough time, you know?
I had like a
'Cause
full
I-
studio set up in my living room, man.
It was tough. I grew up in a doorman building, and you know, I had a really tough time. Yeah, because sometimes he wasn't there, and it took me a while to get a fucking cab.
Yeah. I mean, like especially since I grew up thinking there was still something more of a DIY scene. I thought it would still blow up because local scene. I was near local scene, a bunch of crust punks in the middle of Los Angeles, you know, all the Mexicans and shit. And the Vice is still trying to
Whoa,
invade that
that's
scene.
fucking way racist. Come on, man.
What?
Come on, you can't say Mexicans and shit. What are you, Morrissey?
Oh,
Because I don't want to say that. I don't know if they're all
No,
Nicaraguan.
it's
'cause I know
okay.
Brazilians.
Mexicans
Whoa,
love more.
what's wrong with Nicaragua?
Nothing's wrong with them. I love them. I hung out with all of them.
All of them?
I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I'm saying that I don't know exactly which part
You
of
can't
every
listen,
part.
man. You can't say I'm not saying it in a derogatory way, and it's not derogatory. I interpret that as derogatory, and I am really offended. And I am going to drag your fucking ass across Twitter for fucking 3 weeks until you are dead.
Excuse me, Frox. This is violence, and I will not stand for it.
Exactly. You have
But,
totally fucking impinged upon my rights.
I went from hanging out with a bunch of dudes in a garage playing noisecore and listening to Michael Jackson's Thriller on an old beat up 1940s record player for the army that they found in an abandoned house, to seeing that none of that was going to matter because you could get something like Frankie Cosmos together or whatever was happening in Toronto. I guess anyone who's connected to broken social scene got a career.
Well, think about
All,
it, man.
all
Like,
you
look,
have to do is put together a myth, basically.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
myth. It is a myth. It's
If
a
you have
bio.
enough money, you can sell it to the public without any effort.
It's like
That's
those
basically
cheesy
it.
comedy skits where they make fun of the 80s hair metal bands for having fake British accents, only they got rid of the accents.
Yeah. Well, look, man. This goes. Look, I don't want to make this about what's going on now because
Yeah.
you can go back. David Bowie had a pretty good upbringing. Robert
Yeah.
Smith was doing okay. You know,
Iggy
like
Pop,
No, I'm
most
not-
Gujarat.
It's always been this
Iggy
way.
Pop. It's always been rich kids. It's always been rich kids dicking around. The thing that's fucked up, like I was thinking about this today because I knew we were going to talk tonight. I don't remember the band name and I didn't have time to look it up. There was a band who released a 7-inch called like Kim Fowley or something about Kim Fowley. And they were like a radical, loud feminist band. And I was like, you're 19. You saw the Runaways movie and you think Kim Fowley is a Malcolm McLaren avatar. And I'm like, if you knew anything about music, if that was your first impulse to go figure out who is Kim Fowley, the first thing you would have heard is that he was the biggest fucking piece of shit who ever walked the West Coast. He was a mad fucking manipulative, psychotic, orgy, sex, fuck up, psycho. And then after this band put the 7-inch out, there was some, thing about Joan Jett or Cherry Curry bio book or something where they were like, yeah, he straight up sexually assaulted me. They may have even said he raped them. I mean,
no, they did. I read about this recently.
But like, if you needed that to quantify for you how much of a piece of shit that guy was, you really needed to do a little more research, because you're almost famousing reality. You watch the movie and it's all great, and it was exhausting and tough, and what a crazy hard time. But like, if you actually fucking talk to people or read, just dig up the fucking, articles, interviews, whatever. It's all out there, man. Like, you just didn't do any fucking work, and you wanted to use the chic that you bought into.
Mm-hmm.
That this guy was like a radical, Svengali of this fucking Svengali thing. And it's like, dude, even the guy who played him in the movie knew that this guy was a fucking piece of shit. And they cut that out of the movie because they didn't want to make it about him.
I'm surprised Ariel Pink got no backlash for that, having him on his Pom Pom record, having him write like 4 songs on it.
Well, nobody gives a shit about Ariel Pink anymore. So.
No, they don't anymore. But at the time, I think he was still just coming off of what was the last bit of the Before Today hype.
Are you the one who's trying to fucking post all the shit on M.I.A about Ariel Pink and like get people to think about him again? Is that you?
No, I'm not doing anything. I haven't posted there in a long time. I haven't given a shit about that.
How come every time I go onto the M.I.A catalog, like 9 fucking pictures of Mad Villain, Spider, it's the same fucking records every time. Like, this is the best record ever.
It's a constant circulating cycle of teenagers who are listening to the same lists of people. There was this old image that was made on the board called the M.I.A Essentials list. And it was essentially everything from the Pitchfork lists and the Spin lists, all categorized into what people like the most. So it omitted some classics here and there.
Yeah, it's basically the RYM top charts.
Yeah.
Like, just boiled down into a short list.
What is
and we've been circulating that since like 2010.
What's RYM?
It never changed.
Rate your music.
Rate your music.
Oh God! So this is something I've never interfaced with, but people have asked me about this.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, you got this is fucking. So when Last FM came out, like when it came out, I was around, and the first thing I said was, "Oh, let me help you codify my behavior as a music listener. Here, let me feed you everything I do, so you can like." What a fucking joke! Like, this is. I've never had a Facebook account. Like, anything that's not like demonstrably anonymized, or that you're capable of kind of deflecting as a persona behavior on the internet. I've never fucking interfaced with any of it, because like I grew up with it, man. I had a webpage.
Masturbating your own taste at that point.
Yeah, but you're not just doing that. You're giving it to these fucking services to can your ass. And like
you don't even have to wait for the data miners to grab it. You're already giving it away.
So like, I had like a fake, not fake. I mean, I released records. I had a band and I registered a website in like 1997, and like M.I.A and all these people, and people are dead. Fucking Ben Brown. Like, you don't even know any of these people are. 411 Burner, fucking like Pillow Fight. Like, you don't know. You don't have any idea what Wild West could mean in terms of the internet, because you weren't there for it. That's not your fault, but at the same time, like,
it's not my fault. You're blaming me.
Like, you can't be responsible for not understanding things like Audio Galaxy and like writing your own HTML when like barely any browsers could interpret HTML. Like, I learned HTML to communicate to people, to like 10 people. I had like a fucking website for my band, my fake loop music DJ Shadow wannabe crap I did as the Grace Period in the late 90s. And like, you literally would get there's no feedback. There's no social media. Nobody's liking anything you do. You just update the page and you just
Hope someone
you have,
noticed.
you have no idea.
Yeah.
When we were doing Pitchfork, when Pitchfork started getting big, I knew how big Pitchfork was in 2002 and 3 because I was involved in technology and I could figure it out. The person who owned Pitchfork had no fucking clue. And all these other fucking music writers at magazines who didn't, like I said, earlier, they didn't even have real websites. They had no idea how big the internet was. I could see it because I was tracking some data that nobody else knew how to track. I mean, people did, but not many music writers knew how to track. And I was going around and fucking with everybody. I was like, we're bigger than fucking Spin. We're bigger than Rolling Stone. Fuck you. You're nobody. And they were like, oh, Pitchfork, you're so cute. And I'm like, okay, I can tell you right now, man, fucking 88,000 people read my review of, fucking Hail to the Thief.
How many copies of that Rolling Stone magazine sell last week?
It's fucked, man. It's just the narrative gets controlled by the people who want to minimize disparity. All the things I'm talking about, they don't ever want that to come out because it kills their narrative.
No, it makes it feel like a miserable place to be in music, and they never want always to be an uplifting thing to be.
Yeah, that's why I did a little off joke in the screenshots on Rodan Scene, because it's like, dude, this is the lifeblood of every indie dork in college in the 90s. And there were only about 75,000 of us. And the numbers absolutely fucking confirm that.
No one read your zine. Only 15 people in your friends group did.
You went, the same 250 people went to every show in your town. That's it. It's nothing. Nobody gives a shit about music except dorks.
Yeah.
But we got all this noise. We got all this fucking noise going around, and it's helping these PR companies and it's helping these record labels. And so we all buy into the story. And then the amplification, the false amplification of all this shit while we're retweeting each other. Wow, I got 150 retweets. What if that's actually 150 people? Is that
Maybe
really like a big deal?
that's a big room of people.
It's infuriating. And like I said, man, this weird window where I left the internet has made it nakedly clear to people like you and to other music fans that like this thing has gotten distorted to a point where it's not like you complain like I was complaining about advertising and hypocrisy and all this shit. Now it's like, this isn't even fucking real. Lil Pump?
No,
Gucci Gang?
it's a completely alien world at this point.
It's fucking total bullshit.
So I have to tell you, I think this is between the gap period of us talking last. There was a shit poster on the M.I.A who went by, I can't remember his name, but he invented the term meme rap. He coined that thing.
It was a guy named www.
It was
yeah. Yes, I'm actually
he unfortunately foresaw the fucking future of what hip hop would be, how it would be marketed, like Gucci Gang.
So look, Fantano doesn't talk about this stuff, but he understands it.
Yeah,
He's got to service an audience. You know this.
Mhm.
But he's been talking, offline or online, I don't know. But for a while now, he's like, this is actually going to crack. The fucking shell is going to crack, and something insane is going to come out of hip hop. And for a while, we were talking about XXXTentacion.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the grindcore record, the first record, which I wasn't on the internet really when it hit, and I was like, this is it. Like Spooky Black was the Christ.
I remember
to me.
Spooky Black.
When that came out, like 2012, 13, whatever it was, like I was driving around in my car. I was working in fucking God, like so long ago. I was working on Cape Cod and I was driving around to YouTube from Spooky Black's album, just like for 2 hours, just on loop. It was so fucking perfect because he was so naked and like he wasn't dumb. He didn't give a shit. It was this weird thing of like, I feel this shit so fucking hard, but I'm fucking white and I live in the middle of nowhere, but I don't give a shit. And I'm going to fucking put on the black turtleneck and the chain and the fucking head wrap. And like, this is like, I don't fucking care if I don't make it, if I don't live up to this, but I love it. And I'm going to fucking try to be it as hard as I can. And I was just like, he was the fucking god to me, this little kid, and then it just fucking went in the fucking tank, like you're saying. And until I heard that early like grindcore screamo XXX record. When I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe 2011 to 2013 wasn't a perfect moment. Maybe we can do it again. And then it was like all this shit came out about him, and I'm like, fuck. Like, what do you fucking do, man? It's one thing if you find out that Bowie, slept with underage girls. If you find out that Led Zeppelin slept with underage girls and carried a 14-year-old around on tour with them, and you still listen to fucking Led Zeppelin. You find out Gary Glitter was a fucking sexual predator, fucking pedophile piece of shit. You find it out after the fact, okay? But now you're finding it out in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And I made that tweet where I was like, okay, you want to put out some music? We're going to do a Corey check and a fucking, we're going to find out whatever post you made on the internet. And then maybe when we're done with that, we found out that you're not a fucking liability. We'll fucking talk about your music.
Where are your receipts? Give me all of your information that you've ever sent a text message to somebody.
Oh, it turns out when you're a teenager and you wrote some bullshit on the internet, the dude from Death Heaven, all these people that get fucking dragged for shit they wrote when they were fucking 17.
We were on that one. God, I forgot about that. I remember when that happened, and like we were on the defense squad for that.
I was on that because that fucking, person was trying to drag me. And I was like, okay, but you're opening for this band. You good with that shit?
Yeah.
Well, no, that they were younger, and it's not fair.
Well, and that's exactly the thing is when you're 15 and you're saying the word faggot on the internet in 2006, whenever that was just a different time.
Jeremy Larson just wrote this thing about Eminem on last weekend on Pitchfork. He's talking about Eminem, and he's like, look, dude, this shit doesn't hit 2018 notes. It doesn't.
It was edgy. It was edgy back then. I remember it. It was insane.
Look, I mean, I didn't like Eminem. I thought he was a fucking mall rat piece of shit.
No, I thought the same thing. My brother is exactly that. My brother is the definition of wigger, and he loves Eminem.
And I just look, at the time I was like, do we need this? Like, I don't want the Eminem thing. I don't want this aggressive hate shit. I want Jackass where you're making fun of yourself. Mm-hmm. And the early 2000s is sort of split that way. Like, you're an angry mall rat white kid, and Eminem has granted you access to cool, to black cool.
Oh God, I feel it.
You can be down because Eminem's down. Dre's co-signing that shit, man. You can be down.
He's the coolest. All my black friends will think I'm the coolest for liking this.
And I'm like, look, dude, I'm not black. I'm a pretty fucking well-off white kid. And my shit is it was just I grew up with skate videos, fucking whiskey.
Yeah. This is where I got a lot of my taste too.
Man, that's fucking GNS footage, garbage, all these fucking videos. Man, if fucking kids if kids today could see Barbarians at the Gate, Heath Kirchart literally sells crack in a bar in St. Louis because these black guys are this fucking 16-year-old white kid in my fucking, fucked up hood bar. He puts the crack rock in Heath Kirchart's hand, and another guy gives him money and takes it out of his hand. He literally sells crack transactionally in this video. And you were like, cool, fucked up, fuck it, go. And this is before Vice. This is before Vice even was a magazine, dude. 94, 5? And then Vice comes out, and we were into Vice. We were mad into Vice, dude. Rating drugs fucking crazy low-life shit. Supreme, all this stuff. It's a continuity of white people being we suck so bad that we gotta just fucking go all the way down. And that was the whole thing. I said whiskey a minute ago, that whiskey video is just drunk, fucking stupid, dumbass white guys snowboarding and fucking drinking and just doing dumb shit because look, man, what's your voice? What the fuck, man? Yeah, everybody needs to hear about you. You got a fucking real platform. And I like the stuff like Jackass that wasn't about trying to fucking co-op social territory.
Mhm.
I didn't like the backpacker shit where all these white kids were like trying to be down. And it pissed me off, and I thought it was bullshit. And I thought they were fucking racist. I thought they were totally fucking racist for being like so loud about Supreme, Wu-Tang, all this like Kids, the movie Kids,
Mhm.
and all this shit at that time. I was like, man,
Mhm.
like Chloe Sevigny and all this fucking crap. I'm just like, fuck you, you know? Like, stay in your lane, man. Stay in your fucking lane. I don't know.
Stay in your lane. Little Vincent Gallo on screen.
Like,
I,
do black people need me to hook them up? I don't think so. They need their own fucking community to deal with the shit they're dealing with. Like, there was that article like last week about flaneur. You can't be flaneur, black people anymore. You can't just fucking coast because they're going after you in that community. Like, that's an invalid opinion. Of course, it's fucking valid. It's fucking horrible. White people don't understand. They're never going to understand.
No.
So I always had a fucking problem with that. That's why I don't talk about fucking hip hop ever. I don't ever talk about it as
the
much
same
as I
reason
love it.
of like I've grown up with hip hop my whole life, but it's never been the genre I grew up and got accustomed to. That was always the skating and punk shit that I did. That was it.
Yeah. And like, look, man, you go back to the Beastie Boys. It was, like it's like the Beastie Boys, the original Eminem.
Yeah.
They're the ones who it was like, black people were like, they're fucking good. Like, this is fucking crazy. Like, looking down the barrel of a gun, fucking Paul's Boutique. Like, there's nobody who loved hip hop who wasn't like, this shit is on. Like, it was fucking amazing. And because they had the money, because they were the white hope. They were the white hope. So they got all the money and they got the fucking leash to do that record. And they did right by the whole culture, like the whole culture of hip hop. Paul's Boutique, they did right by that shit. And then when they came back, it was like, I don't know, man. It just got fucking weird. Check your head. Like, what the fuck is that song? God damn, my favorite song ever, and I can't even think of the title right now because the huge fucking the one with the Bad Brain sample. Come on, hook me up.
Oh no, I lost it. I know exactly. If we had we had one guy who's actually a fucking super huge Paul's Boutique fan. I can't think of what it is either.
Pass the mic. Pass the mic.
Pass the mic. There you go.
So
that's exactly it.
Pass the mic to me. I'm a drummer, and when I heard that fucking loop, I was like Pass the Mic was almost like window liquor to me. like fucking, like that many years earlier. When I heard that, I was like, fuck, man, they're sampling fucking hardcore and they got this fucking swinging, banging fucking beat. And they're good. They had fucking sick flow. The Beastie Boys had fucking sick flow. Not on License to Ill, really, because that was still corny ass fucking Def Jam shit. But when they got into Paul's Boutique and then License, it was just like, fuck, this sucks in a way. Like, as much as I love it, it's totally fucking keeping down black voices.
Yep.
And I made a joke a few weeks ago on Twitter about Debrat. They make these lists about the top 10 women, top 150 albums by women. Debrat's not on it. Debrat's not on it. Debrat sold. It was the first fucking female hip hop artist to sell 1 million records. Like,
yep.
That shit fucking ripped. I loved it.
You barely see Salt and Pepper mentioned anymore, which is like insane to me. Because that was always the go-to for me as a kid. Like, that was the go-to women rap group. That's it.
For me, it's MC. Yeah, for me, it's MC Light. But like, I'm older.
That's another one.
And but it's frustrating as shit because these messages get fucked up. It's the record company, it's the fucking industry, it's the fans. Any one of these variables can fuck things up and fuck you up from just like getting the real shit. And it's a fucked up thing when college kids start listening to Tribe, and then like artists, like black fucking hip hop artists, start pivoting to try and get down with that because it's working. You can't. What the fuck choice do they have? They have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get fucked over by the market, where and that's the whole EPMD crossover New Jack Swing period, where rap artists were like, fuck you, dude. Fuck your Zoot Suit shit, man. Fuck you. You're selling this shit out. And I don't know, man. Again, hard fucking thing to talk about as a privileged white guy. But I grew up with the explosion of hip hop. I mean, that shit was everywhere. Schoolie D was the fucking shit to me when I was a kid. When I went to camp when I was 10 years old, we had fucking Dougie Fresh as the show. Like, and a kid brought that up because he lived in the Bronx, and we went to YMCA camp in Frost Valley in New York,
Yeah.
and he had the show, and it was Inspector Gadget. So you're a child, and the Inspector Gadget theme. When you're a child, the Inspector Gadget theme is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
And it just gets fucked up, man. This whole hip hop black music thing. Go back to the fucking blues, whatever, doo-wop, you know. It just keeps getting fucked up where like you get this cycle of black artists breaking through cleanly, and then the second that happens, they get fucking crushed by imitations of what they're doing. I don't know, man.
What do you think of what was it, Little Ugly Mane? Little Ugly Mane out of the South?
Yeah, I mean, I leave that shit over to fucking Jason DeMarco. Like, I leave that over to fucking Clark Noble One, baby.
Jason DeMarco cares about Little Ugly Mane? I haven't seen him care about shit in a while.
I mean, he was talking about the new Sleep record yesterday.
He was, but you know, he's a man in the audience where he's at. Sleep is absolutely the Adult Swim market.
You're not fucking with my boy, because I'm gonna fucking take you out.
No, I love Jason DeMarco. I think he's doing a great job with Tsunami and shit. Like as a
Show,
child,
like what? He needs your fucking approval? Get the fuck out of here. That motherfucker is bringing in shit that you would never fucking have the ability to fucking bring to popular cultures. Like, you wouldn't even have fucking anime weebos out there, motherfucker?
No, he wouldn't. I love that. That's a fucking great thing.
I don't even like half the shit he brings over, but he's bringing it over.
He's doing it. I'm absolutely I am very surprised at everything he just put on for the April 4th Adult Swim. He did it all subs only anime broadcast.
Yep. Just because of Twitter bitches. I can't say that word. Fuck, I can't say that word anymore. But like, look, dude, that guy fucking pulled L through some hard shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, dude. I mean, it's fucked for me because he grew up down the street in Plymouth.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and we had a lot of fucking common ground and shit. And then like, we had some deep talks about hip hop because I'm like, look, I'm not comfortable talking about this shit. I'm fucking privileged white guy. I talk about The Cure. Like, dude, I can't.
That's a good thing to talk about.
No, it's not. I mean,
it's not a lucrative thing to talk about. It's a good thing to talk about.
Fucking staring in the mirror, dude. Like, you don't need me. You don't need me to tell you about what's going on in hip hop. You got fucking so many shrimp and all these fucking people and Dave Turner and all. Like, this is well covered territory. I'm not a voice that anyone needs. But the point that I'm trying to make is he's putting money behind that shit. Big fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not his money. He's convincing people that this is worth investing in. You cannot fuck with that.
No, without him, I don't think Flying Lotus Los Angeles Sound would have blown up as much as it did because Adult Swim was blasting that shit.
Yep.
He helped.
So I'm just saying
a lot.
There's good people out there. They're doing the best they can.
And I always love the good people. As much as people, they yell at him on the internet.
You love the good people.
Yeah.
You feel the good people.
Yeah. I'm getting memed on. I don't even know, man.
No, there's so few people that have done, like, you can't even imagine the fucking meetings he's been in to convince people who have no idea what the fuck he's talking about that they should put $250,000 behind some bullshit. Like, it's just fucking crazy. And I mean, so we're coming around full circle to the Killer Mike thing. Killer Mike straight up just went to him and was like, I trust you. I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. And I want you to put out my record. That's fucking crazy. That's just fucking crazy. Because he went to Mike and was like, I don't know how to do this. I have no idea how to do what you would want somebody to do. If you're Pusha, if you're any of these guys, if you want to game up on fucking hip hop, I'm the last person you should ask to help you do that. And he was like, I don't fucking care. I trust you. Fucking put it out. And it, it didn't do what it could have done if he'd hooked up with those type of people. But you got very few good voices, good people out there who are going to help. And it gets worse and worse every year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's nobody gonna fucking help you make good music bigger. It's just not gonna fucking happen.
No, they gotta sell themselves out to a publicity firm or some sort. They gotta get their connections going, or else you're not gonna get noticed.
The weird thing too is it's not even the PR firms anymore, fucking artists themselves, because of
Oh, that's
Insta
true. That's true. Yeah, you can sell yourself out real quick.
you know, I wrote a while ago and I've mentioned on Twitter, like I think back on Ian Connor and I'm like, that fucking kid was perfect. I mean, he was the next step up from Tyler and Earl and all that perfect like 2011. I mean, I keep talking about this, but like kids are starting to turn the corner and realize like 2011 to 2013 was like full on fucking punk rock 77
It
to
was.
79.
It really was.
You had Unicorn Kid, fucking Elite Gymnastics, like all these great fucking white rave bands that were so fucking smart and brilliant and loved dance music and house club techno. And they did the funniest fucking coolest shit. I've always repped for Finally Boys, who just vanished.
No, yeah.
Sucks. But I
The
mean
Witch
Finally
House.
Boys. Yeah, well, and then Salem, and I loved all that shit. And like you had people like Chris Weingarten at Rolling Stone who was like, "Fuck you, you fucking shitty white hype merchant bullshit fucking people who are like totally fucking scamming on black music. Like you're fucking pitch shifting your voice down to sound black. That is so fucking racist." And he's right. He's right in a way. But that whole period, man, vaporwaves beginning, Grimes on Grimes everywhere, fucking
Everyone who
MTV.
Grimes is associated with, like Purity Ring and Cecil Freyna and all that shit. All
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
Gymnastics. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the MTV goes and gets on the bus with Tyler because they're like, "Fuck, we can't. What we fold. You beat us. You
Yeah.
gained the game. You gained the game, and now you're the shit." So Earl and Tyler, we're just gonna fucking point a camera at your face because we have no idea what the fuck's going on. Like you're gonna
Motor Squad was Jackass 2.0, and it didn't work as well, but it was definitely the adds to the cult of personality of Tyler.
Yeah, no shit. But so I saw all that shit end, and I felt like it was kind of, and I should have fucking checked that earlier than I did. Honestly, I should have got off the internet in like 2014, 15, because I spent that last year just being a dick. Is not a great open. It's not a great sell. Like being an asshole to everybody. But I did that for like 8 months, and people were just like, "Fuck you! Like you suck."
I'm bored. I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're just a dick about everything. And look, I mean, nobody's going to stand up and be like, "You're right. My entire life is a fiction. I work for the enemy. I'm a bad person." Like, it's not going to happen.
No, they're gonna have the poetic deathbed speech.
I stayed in probably a little bit too long, but whatever. It was great being away from it. I had a kid, my fourth kid.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, so she was born on the Brexit 623,
Ooh,
the literal day. So I call her Brexit Jones.
that's great. That's a good name though. That's like a Frank Zappa name.
Well, so two of my kids have jokey meme internet names, Baby Grimes and Brexit Jones. The other two don't have internet names because I wasn't like doing internet shit when they were born. But anyway,
They're a product of your period of life.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, I think everyone's right to look back on that period because that was the period where advertising was writing blank checks, like Pitchfork, Vice, everything. They were just pissing money at all of them because they didn't know what the fuck was going on. The advertisers lost control during that period because so I'll give you some inside baseball, right? When I was leaving Pitchfork, the person who owned it was trying to woo the advertising director from The Onion to come to Pitchfork.
Oh.
Right when that happened is when I said, "Fuck you," because that person did not pay me money that they promised to pay me for all the work I'd done for 4 years, fucking candlelight, 2 a.m, getting up at fucking 6 to go to work. They didn't pay me. And I told them, I am going to take this out of you in blood or teeth if you don't cut me this check and you do not want to go down that road. and they were so fucking lazy and stupid that they didn't realize, like, I could have cut Chris Ott a check for $4,000 and none of this would have happened. Was it really worth it when you sold
No.
your website for $35 million and had
No.
to delete all my reviews because I was going to sue your ass? Like, it was just dumb as fuck. But anyway, so he got the guy from The Onion to come over and help him understand how to run a business. And then that guy, around about 2007, got Mark Geiger to come in. Mark Geiger runs WME, artist management. Mark Geiger started Lollapalooza. He managed the Pixies. He started Lollapalooza after being on tour with the Pixies for a while. And he had just, I mean, there's very few people who have the number of contacts and power that this guy has. He ran WME. And so this person who came on from The Onion was like psyched about that. And then he became a silent partner in Pitchfork in 2009. And so when he became a silent partner, that's when you started seeing things like Questlove mentioning Pitchfork in interviews and like all sorts of weird stuff, like them showing up in Time magazine and mainstreamy, normalizing. And then around about 2011, this person, I guess, I don't know, whatever. So this other person started bringing Condé Nast in, like grooming Condé Nast to take over Pitchfork. So like by 2013, when it's peak independence and peak profitability and peak drugs, you'd go to a Pitchfork event and like everyone there was from Condé Nast. And so like over the next 2 years, they navigated this. And then in October 2015, they straight out bought Pitchfork. And at that point, I just walked away because I knew that the primary person from this website had like been to rehab a couple times and like it was totally out of control. And then when they signed the deal, they followed me on Twitter after having blocked me for like 3 years. They followed me and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Hey, what's up, man?
when it got announced. And my response tweet to that was, "Hey man, sounds great. Is your lockup 18 months?" And then they blocked me immediately again. So I don't know. I don't know if you know what a lockup is, but when you buy a company, you have a lockup with the key man. So key man insurance is like you buy insurance against that person dying. So they had key man insurance and they also had a lockup with the purchase. And the lockup was 18 months. And the second, literally the week after that 18 months expired, Chris Kasky quit Pitchfork.
Ooh.
And he posted a fucking handwritten note about it, which was a fucking diss on me for my handwritten Pavement, Slanted, and Enchanted review. Which was one of the biggest reviews Pitchfork ever ran.
Yeah.
That's a good review.
Yeah, it was all right. But anyway, the point is, all these people
okay.
all these people got, 2 people were Pitchfork. Like the LLC of Pitchfork was 2 people. It was the guy who started it and then Chris Kasky. And Chris was like, he looked at Pitchfork like any other fucking startup. Like he went to fucking dinners where you had to pay $750 a plate to meet him. Yeah, that's cool as shit. I don't know if you guys know about industry dinners, but there's all these events when you go to South by and fucking the Met fashion show. There's all these events where you have to pay like $1,000 a plate to go to dinner with these media scions and grease them and all this bullshit. This thing was greased for a long fucking time, and very few people got the cash reward of selling Pitchfork to Condé Nast. And the second, like, I've dicked on this fucking asshole who runs Condé Nast Digital on Twitter a bunch of times. Like, this guy spends more time doing cable crossovers at Equinox than you can imagine. His triceps are huge.
That's sick. His triceps are huge. That's gonna be the quote we're gonna put on this art on this whole.
I mean, like the idea that Pitchfork is owned and operated and governed by this fucking like late 40s, early 50s dick shit with his fucking giant neck muscles. And like, I don't know if you saw that. I posted a fucking filtered screen grab of his Instagram where he's like, when you get all your brands on the same platform, you got to put it on a t-shirt, baby. And it's
Oh
like,
man. Is it like neck thickness like Trent Reznor in the mid 2000s?
oh God, no, it's way worse than that.
It's way. How is it worse than that? That's like the most
His
thick
neck. Well, this is the funny thing. His neck's like a tree trunk. Like, I'm a pretty big dude, but this guy would fucking wreck me. So for me to be talking shit about him, he would stomp my ass out. Like, it would be fucking American History X shit up in this piece.
What is how is it that we've gone back from forums? It went from chat rooms to forums. Now we're back to chat rooms again.
Yeah, so I think that's the immediacy thing. Like, you don't want this shit on the internet forever. Like, I got opinion posts from.
We did go over that part, didn't we? We don't want receipts.
I got fucking opinion posts from 2002 that are still like online. Like, I want drunk shit I posted in fucking 2009. Yeah, I want that on the internet. I want that. I want everyone to read that fucking crap. Like, the most offensive fucking dumb shit you thought you were saying to fucking 35 people on a fucking message board. It's still there. That's great for me. I'm loving that shit.
I had my posts on this old teen forum, which I talked to a bunch of people. This is like, or 2002 when it started. It was pretty early on. And there's just old posts of mine on this teen forum. There's other shit. There's more embarrassing things than what I said on there, but the fact that there is a forum out there and someone has the data of these posts these people made, and there's so much weird internet drama that comes with that kind of shit with forums, because there's entire personas made.
Well,
I'm honestly really thankful that the only forum I frequented when I was a teen regularly wiped their posts.
Well,
it wasn't 4chan.
That's not even something that I would have considered, because I just thought, it's going into a fucking bucket and whatever. And then the thing that killed it was everyone started using the internet. And you just need one person to scrape back and find that post where you were like, I don't even know, I don't even know. But the
one where you kind of just lost your shit.
Yeah, well, you're fucking shit faced at 2 a.m. and
you had a bad day at work.
Yeah, whatever.
There you go. Yeah,
your boss happens to be a lesbian or something, and you call her out and you get drunk and you're angry.
No, I was always talking about musicians and people like that. But anyway, one thing that's a weird fucking gap with this is LiveJournal. So I'm too old to have ever even known about LiveJournal. Because by that time, I had social media exhaustion. This is before Twitter exists, okay? And I had social media exhaustion. So I never had a LiveJournal. I had a blog spot, and I just like input, output. I wrote something, I posted it. You commented, I commented back. Yeah. LiveJournal sapped and drained down all of the MySpace kids. And it was exceedingly, exceedingly young. And when you hear about this shit, like the real estate guy in Pine Grove and Brand New, this is this weird fucking gap where LiveJournal was like a fucking predatory, fucked up fan concentration thing. And these fucking douchebag fucking psychopaths in these quote unquote emo bands who were being interpreted as like honest and real and touring, and they so many emotions, man. And they would get these LiveJournal buzz shows together. They go to the show. Like, I have multiple fucking stories from women that are now probably in their early 30s, but like they're like, I was 15, I was 16. And I went to this fucking emo show, some band I followed on LiveJournal. This guy cornered me in the fucking dressing room. And he was just...
it's no secret anymore.
We all grew up with that. At least I did. I remember the MySpace predatory things. I remember being on MySpace and the LiveJournals and shit. I remember...
And like the guys in these bands are like 24, right?
Mm-hmm. And their entire fan base is direct contact with 13-year-olds.
And I'm like,
Yeah, they weren't even close. They weren't even closed shutters about this shit. It was like out there for people to see.
Blood on the Dance Floor was a thing, and they're still a thing. Somehow, they still have a fan base.
And I'm like, look, dude, when I'm in my 20s, like when I was in my 20s, I'm trying to find a peer, dude, somebody my age who thinks the way I do. That's all I wanted. Like, who the fuck is trying to fucking take advantage of fucking teenage? Like, I don't get it. It's fucked up. What's wrong with you? Like, where's your fucking filter, man?
It's some weird thing, and this is thing I've never I can't leave my head with it. That pop punk and emo bands of the time, they're all predators to me. They're all predators until proven innocent, and that's just how it is.
Dude,
Because
I opened for Blink 182 when they were on Cargo,
yeah,
and they were like, you've never seen three guys less interested in the audience of women. Like, they were just like, this is jail. This is jail. Hi, jail. Like, you've seen the Vine where the guy's like, hey, what's going on? How old are you? I'm 15. Ah! Like, that's everyone's reaction at that time. You would play a show at a college. You play a show at a fucking some town, an all ages show. And it's like, oh God, you're really nice. Thank you for listening to my record. You go in the back and you drink some beer and you're just like, let's get in the van, man. We got to go. Like, there's never a thought.
mm-hmm.
You know your audience is younger than you. Blink knew their audience was so fucking young.
Yes,
Totally knew that. As crazy as this fucking asshole is with his UFO bullshit. Like,
he's got evidence, man. He's got it all.
you see that fucking Tylenol pill flying across the water? That's fucking aliens. That's aliens, man.
You ever see those fucking balloon fucking things floating in South America, man?
But like, you know, as much like it's fucked because you got like, I come from that background of like pop punk attracted super fucking young audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew that. And it was cool. It was fucking cool, man. You were a fucking rock star. These little fucking teenagers are like into your shit.
Scooby-Doo movie, man. You got that Sum 41.
It just felt so fucking cool, man. It just felt cool. You felt cool. You didn't feel like, I want to go hit that shit. Like, are you fucking crazy? These are children. They're fucking children, dude. What's wrong with you? And when these fucking stories come out about these bands, I'm like, yo, dude, like, what the fuck? You want to fucking send somebody some forward fucking text message on AIM? Okay. And that person can be like, hey, I'm 14. Fuck. Like, you're fucking drunk. Go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
The shit that happened at these shows it's fucked because for me, pop punk was so fucking cool and fun. And none of the bands I played with or played in, like, it was never even, you weren't doing it to fucking hook up or whatever. You were doing it because it was like, it's an excuse to fucking go out, go play a show in another town, do something.
Gotta get out of my town.
Yeah. And then like when I got like started getting, you know, written up and whatever for this whole wave, when I was like, you know, making my first splash on Fuck All This Noise, you know, like younger women interview me and like talk to me and shit. And like we'd do our interview and whatever, and I'd be like, hey, what's your story? Like, where'd you come from? What'd you go through? And they'd all be talking about LiveJournal. And they'd be like, this singer in this emo band totally fucking tried to fucking corner me. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I can't possibly convince you or anyone who would ever hear this how different the world that I fucking came up in is from the early internet days, those early 2000s, mid 2000s, when LiveJournal and all this shit was taken off. Like, it's just like a thing. It's like a thing of like feeling like shit. You just feel like you believed in music and you did music and you played music and you wrote about music and you did all this stuff. And like, yeah, you heard about Isaac Brock and a couple of like this guy in your town, this one guy. There's this one guy. There's these two guys. Like, don't let fucking anybody go home with that fucking guy because you know that guy's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was observable. This guy is a problem. He has a problem. He has 2 beers and he's fucking crazy. And he's a fucking psycho. And I think this guy could cross the line. Like, you knew it. You could fucking radar, man. and you fucking shut that motherfucker down, and you did not let him come around.
Not to
And,
make
like,
a divide here, but do you think in the context of exposing the predatory actions of dudes from the 2000s, like Brand New came out recently, which is something I always felt was going to happen. I don't know. I'm so scarred from this growing up with the predatory pop punk musician that they are all this guilty, and Brand New being guilty of predatoring a 16-year-old. It was just like of course, exactly that's what's happening.
And it's fucked for me because, like, the dudes who were playing pop punk in my day were old,
Yeah, they started their career at like 30.
Well, no, but I'm talking like Screeching Weasel, No Effects, all these fucking
Yeah.
Propaganda was like Psycho,
Well, I'm sorry, I
Propaganda.
shouldn't say started the career, but they got big at 30 compared to being 22.
But like, I see all these kids hating on Fat Wreck as a macho thing, and I'm like, dude, they had fucking Propaganda, they had fucking, like, Pansy Division was around. We were talking about this shit. We
Pansy
were
Division is so fucking forgotten as a big icon for that movement.
we were so fucking pro gay, pro everything. I didn't give a shit. I didn't fucking care. I just want to get laid, man. And if you weren't into fucking hetero shit, then fine.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I don't look down on you. You're fucking gay. Good, rad, man. I made out with dudes all the fucking time for fun, for fucking, like, have just fucking something to do. Like, just like, I don't even know how to explain this, man. Like, parties, fucking girls would be laughing, fucking whatever. Some joke about heterosexuality, homosexuality, whatever. You just make out with a dude. Just make out with him. Fuck it. I don't give a shit, man. Like, I'm not worried about it. It's not like I'm trying to turn a girl on by doing that. I'm just like, here's where we are. There's no fucking boundaries, man. That's why we're doing this, man. To find a place where there's no boundary. And it doesn't mean like fucking orgies and shit, but it's just like, demonstrate that, like, I am down with whatever the fuck you want. I'm down. Whatever you're here for. We're just having fun. And pop punk was like super social in that way. And it just got so fucking inverted when Green Day crossed over and fucking
Yes.
pop punk and emo mall fucking manic panic shit. And then I talked to, I did the two podcasts. I did 2 podcasts with Jeff from Thursday.
Ooh.
And it's like, what, you haven't heard those?
No, I do remember those, but I just can't remember them. I remember they exist, but I don't remember.
Well, we certainly didn't talk about this stuff, but it's just
No.
like, it's like you're flying a fucking flag, man. It's like, I don't give a shit. I just don't care. I don't care. Like, your boundaries, the things you're afraid of, I'm not afraid of them. And that's what we were all like trying to do. And then it just like, you take 3-5 years off and you come back around and they're sexual predators who were fucking forcing themselves on 16-year-old girls. And it's like, where the fuck am I? Like, it just sucked. It was so fucked up.
Not to wax philosophical too much, but it feels like it was just the emo scene somehow caused when they melded together, it caused this weird shift of being about having fun and being in a rock band that could play 3 chords and be a huge rock sensation to being about this emotionally resonant thing with kids of that target audience.
And you make a really good point, because they're flying the flag of, I represent your teen angst and you can trust me and I'm real and I'm the guy at the mall.
That's what I was about to say.
I'm the guy at the mall. It's okay. You can feel safe here.
I'm the guy making the t-shirts you're buying.
And then, like, honestly, I gotta say, as much as to me that was alien to my experience, they're totally fucking justified to be like, you were straight up predators. You sold the inclusion of punk rock and emo to kids. Yeah. And then when they bought it, you totally fucking victimized them. It's fucked up, man. It's so fucked, because I wasn't there for any of it. By the time that stuff started happening, I'm down in New York and I'm making my push and I'm like, can I really make money at this shit? Can I do it? Can I fucking like wreck as a writer, as a personality? Can I fucking straight get famous? Like, I met with the fucking editor-in-chief of Entertainment Weekly. And I'm sitting down and we're talking, and she's like, so what do you think's going on right now in music? And this is 2005, I think. And I said, the most important thing for you as an editor of a popular culture magazine is that you establish a relationship with Amy Winehouse. It is literally the only thing you need to do.
Oh, fuck.
Because she is the most important musician in the last 20 years.
Oh, man.
And
Amy Winehouse could have been huge. Just the biggest thing in the world. I mean, she already was huge, but I mean, like.
Yeah, so the editor goes to me, who? And then so then we started talking about like LCD Sound System and my history at Pitchfork and how fucking I know everything about music and blah blah blah.
Talk about 12 Rods Gay.
Yeah, 12.
Really?
Oh, fuck off. No, that's right, dude. So I'm like, don't put the fucking Chicago bullshit on me. That's Ryan and Brent. I was in Boston, man.
That's the best 10 out of 10 review ever.
No,
Speaking of that,
no, Save Ferris is the best 10 out.
That's true. Save Ferris.
No, that was a 9.5. That was only 9.5.
How the fuck do you know that?
I don't know how you know
because
that.
I want to. That's
Oh,
why I
he-
want to
no.
ask you. I want to ask you something.
He went through a Save Ferris hole recently.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why.
yeah.
I played with Save Ferris.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're
So,
aware, but
wait,
people
hold
have been
on, hold on.
archiving the deleted reviews.
I opened in my. I really did this. I was in a pop punk band in college. Pop punk band called the Mysterians. We did 1 7-inch. Okay. But then in the window after that band broke up, I had some friends that I knew were fucking hardcore legit, loved the Specials, loved Iggy Pop, and we had a ska band called the Escalators. And we opened at Skidmore College for Save Ferris, the Pie Tasters, and Mephistopheles, bitch.
Ooh. Fuck, what a lineup.
Can you hear the fucking tumbleweeds running?
I know, I can hear him.
This was the death knell of third wave ska. But anyway,
Just one more thing I needed to ask you about that. About the who the fuck is James P. Wisdom?
James P. Wisdom.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into this shit. So James, he was around for a long time. So look, we had pen names. Okay, so there were various points. God, I can't remember. There's a Japanese fake name.
Oh, that's
Ray
I know that
Ray
one.
Suzuki.
Ray Suzuki, yeah.
Can't fucking believe you know that. You're such fucking dorks.
Ray Suzuki did the Jet review.
Ray Suzuki was the Alan Smithy we agreed upon. Ray Suzuki was the Alan Smithy for any review we would not put our name to. So when you talk about James P. Wisdom, you're talking about like the Sam Chenault period. Dude, look, straight up, we had like fucking 6 or 7 people that were writing reviews that people were stoked on, man, because you couldn't get good reviews. What are you gonna read a fucking Spin Rolling Stone paragraph where it's like, this is a really appreciable step forward for this band? Like Pitchfork, we would go long on nothing, and that's why Pitchfork happened. We went long on nothing, and these fucking bands would be like, fuck, someone wrote fucking 9 paragraphs about my fucking record. Like, that's why it happened, man. That's why it all fucking took off. But James P. Wisdom was one of the earliest. There was also Eric. Fuck, what's his name? The original LL. So the guy who started this didn't know anything about business. He didn't know what an LLC was. He didn't know what an S corp was. And I was the only person with any fucking business acumen. I'm also the one who told him. I actually wrote the takedown note when Steve Martin from the Beastie Boys PR company was like, I'm going to sue you, because Brent DiCrescenzo wrote a review of Hello Nasty where he said some really dumb shit.
Love Brent. Love those reviews.
God damn it, Brett.
I wrote the retraction for that, and Brent didn't know that I wrote it. He thought Ryan did, and I was like, Brent, look, bud, I wrote that because you're fucked. You stated facts that were not true, and you're done. And I don't think Ryan, like drinking Diet Dr. Pepper, eating pizza, and smoking weed in an apartment in Chicago, has the muscle to shut Steve Martin down. So you're fucked. You're gonna have to eat a big bag of shit. and we're taking it down, bud. But yeah, the early players and the whole thing, you know, there's like 6-7 people, and then there was like 2 or 3 pen names and whatever. It's boring. Who gives a shit, man? Nobody cares about this stuff. It's fucking 20 years ago at this point. I mean, and not really, but it's, you know, it's 15 years ago. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't. The only people that bug me are the people who are like think it was worthy. Like, there's a bunch of people, like 3 or 4 people who think it was like a really big deal, and like, I'm a dick for trying to play with it, trying to fuck with it. My whole thing was like, fuck with this, like fuck with it. We were at fucking CMJ in a subway car, and there were these like obvious indie, like 5 girls, and they were obviously indie people, and we were like laughing and whatever, and I shouted across this train. I was like, "Yeah, you guys read Pitchfork?" And they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Duh." And they were like, my boyfriend wants to kick your ass because you wrote a mean review of Piebald." And I was like,
Ooh.
"Really?"
Piebald.
I was like, is he here? Because I'm not worried about it. And they started laughing. They started laughing and whatever, and it was like a fucking joke. And then, like, you know, we all got off the train. They were like, "Dude, how did you do that? That was so punk rock. You're fucking crazy." And I'm like, "No, you're a fucking, you know, word I can't say right now because I'll get dragged for saying a P word, you know, whatever." But I was just like, man, this is the thing. We got to fucking do this. We got to fucking ramp it up. We got to be obnoxious. We got to make ourselves personalities. We got to fucking take this shit so far, blah, blah, blah. And like everyone else was just like fucking, it was like a cow in a field. Nobody got it. Like nobody understood the history of like fucking with shit. And that's all I ever wanted to do. And you know what, man? If I had my way, we probably would have fucking flamed out and BuzzFeed music would be all you're talking about. If it went the way I wanted, if it went the way I wanted to go, it wouldn't have worked. And I accept that now. But
I don't think BuzzFeed is that desperate to scrape the lack of content and money that comes in for music coverage. They really jumped in on that, like eating snacks and camera thing.
Look, my whole attitude was like, we have the whole thing by the ball. We own this dialogue. You guys don't believe it, but I know it's true. Like, I know it's fucking true. We can just piss in everyone's face. We own music dialogue. Let's protect that. Protect this house. He attack, but also, and it was just a thing of everyone else was like, I need to make money, and I was like, well, I make a fucking good living in my real job that's based on the skill. Like, I have a skill that I do, and that makes me money. Why don't you guys get real jobs, and then we can fucking do this, you know, whatever, man. It's boring as shit. But like, basically, like, I believed in it as a thing, as an angle we had. We were legit independent, totally outside everything, and we could have fucked everybody up because we were turning the corner of, oh, please give me free CDs and please give me promo copies and please this, to like, you don't want to give me your copy? I'll review it whenever. I get it anyway. Fuck you. Like, we were getting to the point of fuck you controlling the dialogue, and nobody valued it. It wasn't that we had money. It was just we had control, and nobody valued that control in the way that I did. And that's, you know, that's my own fucking insanity, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think there's just a general aim to be more amicable public. This is before you're called out for anything you ever did in the past thing. I feel there was a general rise in that.
No, of course, because I made a joke about tranching. You know, you get tranched. You know, you get a 7.5. You're tranched. There's nothing happening for your record if you get a 7.5. You are dead. Your record label is dead. Your fucking PR company is dead. You're done. And that was the thing when I was still there. Like, before fucking advertisers and venture capital and private equity started juicing, you know, money into this shit, I was like, you know what this means. If we give this, if we give this, like, if you don't give a record at 8.1, doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah,
like, we're running the fucking show. We are literally controlling music dialogue. And like I said, we got to protect this. We got to fucking own this, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, Chris, you're fucking insane. You are a crazy person. You're literally fucking nuts. And it didn't help that I would get like fucking shit faced and, you know, call people at 2 a.m. and be like, I mean, I was like, fuck, I was totally fucking nuts because I thought I was sitting on the fucking, I literally thought I was sitting, and I still believe I was sitting on a fucking crazy shift
God.
in like dialogue around something that meant everything to me. But you know, I was the only one who had a good fucking job. Honest to God, everyone else was trying to get paid for it. Oh,
Oh.
I gave you a good review. I should make a living off that. Are you fucking crazy? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I worked in fucking media at that time. I worked for fucking Time Inc. I worked for People, Teen People. Fucking, that was my job. I saw it. I lived it, and I'm telling them all, this is over. Like, there's a thing coming. This is all over. Like, we can fucking own this next wave. And just everybody thought I was fucking crazy. One of my best friends is a pretty big deal in fucking TV and movies and shit. He won an Emmy actually.
Oh shit.
Who won
For
an Emmy?
one of my best friends. It was in my high school Dinosaur Jr. type band.
Ooh.
He was the audio guy for 30 Rock, and he won an Emmy.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, he did like he does huge shit like that catastrophically bad fucking show Rise that just failed. That was his, that literally paid him a year's salary just to film that shit.
Yeah,
That show was so funny. When he was telling me about the rushes for that show, they would go in and they were like, "Is there an LGBT character?" And
Oh man.
the script writers were like, we can make one of the kids trans. Is that, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, God, I've never felt more exploited as anyone member in the LGBT community. It's absolutely the most pandering bullshit, and it's barely ever actually like genuine.
So like, it's funny because like what you would may or may not know or think about me, like I have like a number of pissed off trans fans
Yeah.
who are so fucking annoyed by how dumbed down and offensive all the dialogue around their struggle is. Like, they're just like, you listen to tons and tons of fucking like gay music and you talk about gay shit, but like, you're the most hetero cis dude ever. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But I'm like, I talked to you about earlier, I'm just like, there's no like, like just give everybody what they want, man. Just there's nobody.
It's, to go back on that.
It's just
Giving
it's
everybody
just,
what
Wait,
they want now is the
They're
big.
pissed off at
millennial
you for like
politics.
impeding on their territory. They think you're impeding on their territory or something.
no. They're stoked about the fact that I'm like not trying to get territory. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fucking win points. I'm not trying to fucking line my shit up with you. Like, I don't give a fuck about what you want to do. I just think you should be able to. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like everyone acts like everyone doesn't want that or is blocking them. And I'm like, nah, it's not me, man. I don't give a shit.
No, it's more easier than ever to be gay and famous these days. It really is.
No, it's it's easy to be famous and anything.
Yeah.
It's still not easy to be gay if you live in fucking, you know, the sticks.
Well, I emphasize on the famous part, even though I said gay and famous. It is, you can be, if you're famous, you can be anything. Yeah.
Right, of course. But like, you know, most of the fucking country, like you said, working warehouse jobs, 38 grand a year, and like their life sucks, and then they got to hear about this and they're like, you know, does this matter? I'm like, well, it only matters because the media is making it. If they just fucking gave everybody what they're asking for, you got to find real shit to talk about. And it just pisses me off, man. You know, like, let's fucking talk about the fact that most of the country makes less than fucking 50 grand a year, and inflation's gone up 2% every year for the last 10 years. And like half of that shit is on Obama's watch.
Oh man, where's Casey? He would love this.
Yeah, Casey's
Casey
gonna
would
be
love this content.
our poli-sci major friend is missing out very dearly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the shit I like, you know, like, look, Zero Hedge is a Russian propaganda wing, like straight up. It is. but it's also important for you to read Zero Hedge if you want to understand the talking points that non-US actors are trying to get you to fucking buy into. Like,
Oh
you
yeah, I
gotta
don't
read
believe in
everything.
surrounding yourself with your bubble of opinions. I don't believe in
You better fucking be reading Fox News every morning.
that. We have it on the Twitter. It's on the feed. I read it all the time. I need to know.
That's fucking genius, man. I mean, I'm glad there's people out there who get this, because so many fucking kids don't get it. There's three worlds. There's fucking CNN, Fox, and like Zero Hedge or Info.
Yeah, Alex Jones. When I say this, it's just America lives in a totally different reality from each other, constantly at a constant state of overlap.
So this was my thesis in college. When the internet came out, I was in college, and we had it early, crazy early. And I said, and my thesis was, this is going to return us to medieval ignorance, because you're going to self-select all of your information sources, and you're not going to know anything except what you bookmark. Now take this back. I know this sounds fucking crazy, but take this back to medieval England. You only get the books that you have in your town. The world that you know, is what the town crier tells you is the world. And it's the same fucking thing. And it's just getting worse and worse and more like medieval, ignorance. You know what people have access to in your community. That's it. So now your community becomes your folder of bookmarks. No different. It's completely fucked. Like, you can have all the information in the world, but if you self-select this much information from these sources, you're as fucking dumb as people who thought that fucking, the moon was fucking God or something. I mean, it's just fucking crazy how dumb people can get with all this shit out there. You can be even dumber than you were in the 80s.
Do you ever play Metal Gear Solid 2?
Snake.
Yeah.
Snake.
Did you ever play the second one, though, with the whole speech basically entirely on this? They had like a 7-minute cutscene about just the freedom of information being a death note to humanity.
Yeah. And so there's a great book called Republic 2.0, if you haven't read it, by a Chicago law professor. And this is before this was written in like 1999. Like, all you had was eBay and a couple things. And this guy, like, he just toned it all out. He's like, you're going to pick your folio of web pages, and that's all you're going to know. And you're going to be so fucking dumb.
He's got a nice smug face he's made on the cover.
Well, I mean, this is ages ago. I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
I know.
I
just love a good profile picture.
He wrote this before the .com boom. He wrote this before there was any money behind the internet, and he totally fucking saw it. And it was basically like, I wrote this childish, thesis about this topic, and then when I graduated, like a year later, this book comes out that's like, okay, there's a guy in his mid-30s, I'm in my 20s. There's a guy in his mid-30s who's fucking tuned this shit out. Like, this is how it's going to go. No matter how it ends up happening, it's going to happen this way.
Yep.
And it fucks me up to this day. I think about the shit that, yeah, it's fucking crazy.
It's the biggest effect I think the fake news boom of Trump made.
He's the whole Trump does the most basic thing you can do, which is linguistic, manipulation, which is, you get a slick name like, Lion Comey and blah, blah, blah. And you just keep shouting it. Yep. And then all these people are like, oh, great.
I can hear your argument that it's worth listening to like all the sources of media out there. What about the spin they put on everything though? Is that a factor in your consideration there?
Well, of course, because like what I was just about to say is trying to iteratively beat people over the head with jingoistic bullshit like Lion Comey, Crooked Hillary, like Trump, his whole playbook. People simplify it and say that he's bullying. No, man. What he's doing is like age-old linguistic iterative domination. And like when he says these like catchphrases like Lion Comey, like when I see a phrase like Crooked Hillary, Lion Comey, whatever, it's literally like seeing a swastika. there's no difference.
It's search engine optimized speech.
No, but it's not even SEO stuff. It's like this guy is trying to convince people in the simplest terms, 2-word phrases of a political bias that will get them to act. He invalidates something by making it a catchphrase, and that is the definition of all the history of dictatorial, sociopathic, rage and hate-based politics. And it's just whatever, man. This is way off fucking script.
No, it is. It is off. It ends up this way because of the climate. It really does.
Yeah, sure, because you get enough people who don't feel like they've been listened to, and history's gonna look back on Obama like, dude,
He's Jimmy Carter too.
No, Jimmy Carter was a fucking nothing. You gotta understand, like, Obama came in there, he was a dick. Came in there with Rahm Emanuel, he was a fucking asshole. He told everybody in Washington, fucking basically suck my dick. I'm fucking rolling over you bitches. I got all the fucking votes I need. Fuck you. And most of the stuff Obama did, was just fucking treading water. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. That's what most presidents should do. Tread water. Don't fucking rock the boat. It's fucked, man. It's fucked being like, in my 40s, old enough to understand these people. Bush and Obama are a lot more similar than a lot of kids would like to believe.
Oh, there's a lot of kids who are feeling that now. I see a lot of write-ups from younger people on these sites, and they do just sit there and go off on how they're so similar. How
it's not, it's not deep state. It's not like there's a deep state.
No.
It's not, it's just like they're trying to keep their job. The're trying to get paid. They're trying to hook their friends up. And in that respect, he really was no different. I mean, whatever. There's no answers, man. It's just, it's fucking stupid. If you're going to fucking look at politics as a way to define yourself, you're already a loser. You fucked it up. You define yourself by yourself, It ain't about fucking hectoring bullshit, screaming and yelling about righteousness and fucking that, and you're wrong. You're a bad person. I heard you did this one time. This is just fucking the internet has amplified tawdry bullshit in a way that just makes it impossible. You can't move. And so to get it back on the point of music, like, dude, you can't move as a musician. You can't move.
Nope.
Are you pre-cleared to make music? Are you allowed to make music? Are you fucking kidding me?
Got your old Rolodex full of phone numbers. Make sure there's no phone numbers to somebody like Kim. Gotta make sure.
You posted some bad shit a while ago. You're invalid. Yeah. Okay, but you still listen to David Bowie?
Yeah.
Like all these fucking people throwing bricks at musicians and whatever. They need to take a fucking hard look at their politics, because a vast majority of the music you enjoy was made by people who did really questionable shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it's just people that got to fucking.
Was it the Gil Scott-Heron? What was it? There's that whole thing where he just goes on about faggots the whole time.
The subject of faggots, or
the subject of
faggots. Yeah,
yeah, you go.
Or that track where he condones the rape of white women as form of reparations.
Yeah,
he's gonna rebuild it from. Yeah, I mean, I look at this and I'm like, this is not where you need to go. Like the music is not a product of those thoughts. The music is a product of creativity, and it exists on its own. And like, I mean, we got to go there. R. Kelly.
Oh yeah, no, God, did you see the Vince Staples interview at Coachella?
Yeah.
I love Vince. He's not too far from being local for me. This set me over the top in elation because I've been for a decade.
So I wrote somebody asked me about this on Ask FM, and I was like, how hard is it to turn off a song? It's not that hard to turn off a song.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you turn off Ignition. tell me you turn off Ignition. Tell me you do that. Every time you hear Ignition, you turn it off. You don't fucking go for a beer. Tell me you don't go for a beer when you hear Ignition. And if you can tell me that, if you can tell me you do that every time, fucking song.
I can't say every time, and that's a fact.
Like I just like my DJ set. If you hire me to play in your fucking club and set the decks, first fucking song I play, Smack My Bitch Up. First fucking song.
Yeah.
That is a fucking jam. I don't give a shit. It's a fucking great song.
It is. No, it's. I think the Prodigy have a chance to make a sweep around to the youth again because of just the jamness of it.
Can you just accept it as a fucking song? Can you just accept it as a song? Like Smack My Bitch Up, the people who made that song, like you might as well be on fucking Sesame Street, man. These are fucking muso. It's like the Shaman. It's like Ebenezer Good. It's nothing, you know. But you're gonna have a difficult time, you know, rationalizing R. Kelly, fucking underage marriage. Jerry Lee Lewis marries his 13-year-old cousin. It's just,
Didn't like 4 of his wives end up dead or something?
you know, yeah, sure. Oh, I was looking for the apple. William S. Burroughs is really cool. It's radical, man.
God.
He only murdered his wife. That's cool.
Oh, but
Kurt
Lydia Lunch is
Kurt
gonna go
Cobain.
talk with him.
Kurt Cobain did a 10-inch with him, man.
Lydia Lunch, she's there. She's talking about him.
It's just, look, man, creative people are fucked up. And I did this on the Ask FM.
Yeah.
All creative people, anyone who is creative, who wants to create and express themselves, has some level of narcissistic personality disorder. They are on the spectrum of narcissism or sociopathy. It's just not fucking normal. Kanye West is not a normal person. I mean, I told the story before. When I worked at Time Inc., Kanye West was a nobody. He got a fucking interview, literally, to talk to the music director at People Magazine. And I was there because I knew her and we were, you know, tight and whatever. And the funny thing is, when Kanye was walking into the office, Ashley Simpson's dad was walking out with Ashley because because this is before Saturday Night Live. She was a nobody. He was trying to pitch her. He was such a fucking creep. Oh my god.
Yeah,
But
no,
anyway.
I was at the conservatory where Jessica Simpson was brought up into fame. It was
Yeah.
the guy who ran the place did not talk highly of half the people who he the parents of them. And that's why he had a policy of never letting parents go anywhere near the audition room.
Smart policy. But anyway, here's the genius of Kanye West. So I'm at Pitchfork at this time. Kanye is nothing. We haven't reviewed him before any of that. He walks in, it gets past the, you know, door, whatever. And I look under his arm and he's got a Connect 4 set. And I thought, that's fucking weird.
Dude, that's brilliant though. If I get bored, I can play Connect 4.
No, this gets even more fucking intense. So I'm like, this is gimmick? It's fucking weird. Like, why didn't he just bring in a fucking like gold Zelda cartridge from an NES? It's fucking, I don't get it. This guy's fucking he's trying a little hard. I don't know how this is gonna work for him, man. And I break off because I'm not edit. You know, I didn't work in edit. He goes in the room, the music editor. He starts talking to him, glad handing. Hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? Oh, I got this shit going on, and you know, I think there's time. I think this is the time for a change in hip hop. I really feel like there's a time now. You know, we've been through this stuff. You know, I think he mentioned Eminem. He was like, we've been through it. I think it's time for hip hop to really do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. And I broke off and I was doing whatever I was doing. I came back. He's got the Connect 4 set up. When you play Connect 4, It's a kid's game. It's a children's game. It's like checkers. But when you set it up in front of you, you are staring at the other person for like the maximum amount of time you could conceivably talk to another person. And I saw him dropping checks and blacks into Connect 4 with the music editor. And I just said, this is the greatest fucking genius I have ever seen in my life. Nobody ever got more time with a music editor than this motherfucker right here. By setting up a children's game, disarming them completely, and just staring at them one-on-one. He got so much FaceTime. He left an impression.
Brilliant.
An impression you could never leave on anyone with a fucking board game. And I was like, he's God.
He is.
He's God. I mean, he's fucking God. Look, man, Future, all these people who've blown up and fucking been huge and great. And yeah, you made it fucking.
It would still be a great story, though. Despite if Kanye never blew up, it'd still be one of the greatest stories you ever could tell. If just a man walks in with a Connect.
This is the thing is it was inevitable when you see someone do something that fucking genius. You're like, he's fucking 9 levels above everybody. He was. I mean, when I remember at a 45-degree angle looking in on that office and seeing Kanye, who, like Pitchfork, we were already big upping him. Like College Dropout had already gotten the bomb. This was like his audition with New York media. And he's in the office with this woman and they're playing Connect 4. And I was just like, fucking, like, there's no Instagram, there's no Twitter. This is 2003, dude. 2004, I think. There's nothing.
If College Dropout was out, it was 04.
Yeah. And there's nothing. There's no game. There's nothing he can work. There's no, oh, I'm back on Twitter. I got fucking 10 million followers. You know, don't believe in yourself. Believe in your friends. Like whatever bullshit he's tweeting today.
The anime tweets.
Yeah, whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. When I saw that, I was like, this motherfucker is an ICBM. He is going to fucking destroy everything. And the thing that was cool about it was watching him do it. With like, you know, N in Paris and all these fucking crushing fucking things he did. And when Yeezus came out, like, I was like, I have these books. I know exactly what books he's reading. Like A History of the World and 1,000 Objects and like fucking like the 1917 Encyclopedia Britannica before they like you gotta be this crazy. Like I understood the level of his insanity because it is an intellectual insanity. It's not a racial insanity.
No, yeah.
And I was like, this fucking guy, he's never gonna, like, I don't care if he makes $300 million. He's never gonna get rewarded or recognized for how fucking brilliant he is. It's always gonna get dumbed down. And I think that's what's driving.
You think
Kanye
he's still
crazy.
got it?
He's always had it.
think he's
What
still
drives
got
him
it?
crazy, is that nobody, how deep he's fucking got it.
Mhm.
He's got it in a way that no other fucking music celebrity has ever got it.
If you think about it, what people took from Yeezus was the Bound 2 parody video Seth wrote.
Which was the worst fucking song on the record. That's literally the shittiest song.
Everyone said, like, I remember when it came out and I was, it's Kanye making fun of Kanye.
Absolutely.
It's him making fun of what people want of Kanye. They want that stupid soul sample. They want
I can't remember. What's the fucking 9th or 10th track? There's a track that has a reggaeton kind of guy.
Oh, the guy with the random toasting in the middle of it?
Yes, and that song should have been 25 minutes long. It was perfect. It's like a badass AF.
I haven't listened to Yeezus in so long. But I've gone back and I've listened
What's
to
wrong with you?
because I'm listening to new things. I'm a young man. I'm keeping up.
Waste of time, bro.
Waste of time.
It's not anything else.
Yes, send it up. Send it up. That's the song. Yes.
Oh, is it Send It Up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should have been 20 fucking minutes long. that should have been like, as much as he got like all the fucking acid shit, like,
Yeah, with Daft Punk on it and Arca.
well, the Arc or whatever, but Daft Punk basically was like, hey, here's reality. You want it? Like, they had all the history and they gave it to him. And he listened to it and he was like, yeah. I don't know who could know if he was like down with early crazy fucking acid IDM. Like, early Aphex, it sucks to me that Daft Punk, granted him access to all that fucking 808 303 shit. But it doesn't matter because it was so fresh to him that he dropped like the sickest fucking verses ever. Like, are you shitting me? The opening of that, I got it back in and put it in my inner mouth, like, and he starts laughing. Like, he pissed in the face, and it was before rap was even, like, it's before Future, dude. It's before all of this. It's before the whole fucking, like, FM radio, iHeart radio, like, Instamatic fucking million billion fucking shit. And we turn the corner this year, and it sucks because the black artists aren't getting it, and Lil Pump is. But like, it was such a fucking weird gap, man. I feel so gapped. Everything after fucking like early 2014 until now is just this fucked up like Beef, Drake, fucking Migo. Like, it got so fucking dumb. Like,
The trap scene took over so fucking hard, and I've been just mediocre about it. The trap scene just in general has been this blowing up of Young Thug and Migos and shit. And like, I've been mostly mediocre on it. And I'm an avid hip hop follower since I literally, one of the first records I ever heard in full was Green Day, American Idiot, and College Dropout. And I've just been following it, the hip hop fucking zeitgeist ever since.
So what do you think about Kodak Black's flow? Like, this whole like this flow is so fucking tired. And like, when somebody asked me about Cardi B, I was like, okay, so now we have a woman doing
I do not know what happened. I just know. My connection dropped out for a second. Anyway, what I was saying was, what do you think of the insinuation that Fantano makes about Yeezus, that M.I.A. basically inspired the whole thing, like
Kanye
3 years earlier?
Kanye wouldn't doubt that. Would Kanye relegate that M.I.A.'s M.I.A. inspired Yeezus?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't talk about M.I.A. because
you can't. Are you legally
well,
like?
I mean, probably not if I don't want to get shouted down for
Not liking M.I.A.
sexist. Yeah, I've never liked her. I've always said she's a totally rich kid BS nonsense person.
Oh, she is, but you can't.
Went to St. Martin's College. I went to St.
I don't think you
Martin's
should
College.
be afraid to air that opinion.
Nah,
I think a lot of people agree.
No, it's cool. I represent an underprivileged race, so I can, it's all, everyone's against me, even though I went to college with Jarvis Cocker.
God,
Jarvis
everyone's
Cocker.
against her even though she's got the clout to.
Well, Jarvis handed her demo tape to. It's a joke.
Yeah.
St. Martin's, man. That's how you do it, man. You go to St. Martin's, you're all good. You're going to be
I thought
blurred.
it was Bard College.
Bard. What? She's from England, dude.
No, I know she's from England. I'm making a joke of the American equivalent. Sorry. Bad association.
St. Martin's would be like, yeah, Bard's not bad. Vassar, Bowdoin, all the good stuff. All right, so yeah, guys. Yeah, anytime, man. I mean, I love talking to you guys because you guys are like super. You're just dorks. You're just
we're fucking dorks. We like to bring up old Pitchfork.
Keep this in mind with the old Pitchfork reviews. The Pitchfork reviews were just read by us like 2 years ago compared to 20 years ago.
Why you got a house on my age, man? Why you got a house on how old?
I'm not flexing the youth here. I'm just saying, keep that in your brain. That
is now, old man.